As a child-free couple, Rick and I get lots and lots of questions from our community about our choice, our lifestyle, and how we navigate through the stigma that can come along with being child-free. So in this video, we answer questions about fear of loneliness in the future and do we still wonder what it would be like to have kids? We absolutely love having these chats and I'm pretty sure you will too. Let's dive in.
So it's been a while since we've done this.
It has.
And I'm very excited about what we're doing today.
It'll be fun.
Should we just jump right in?
Yeah, let's
Cool.
do it. Yeah.
All right. So about a month ago, we posted on Instagram, send us questions. Basically, anything under the sun about our life. It could be about child-free. It doesn't have to be about child-free. And we got some great questions that we're going to answer today.
Yeah.
That we don't even know what they are. So
let's do it.
I thought that was fun to just let's do it cold off the top.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can handle it. How do you feel?
I'm sure it's going to be fine. Right. And also just to tell people to ask their questions in the comments so we can do more of these Q&As. We really enjoy doing them. So
absolutely.
Yeah, put in whatever you want to ask us and we'll be happy to share it in our next Q&A video.
Yes. Inundate us with your thoughts, your comments, your questions. We love it. And then we can, like you said, we can do more of these. Great. Okay. So I'm going to open it up. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Our first question is, my biggest fear is loneliness when you get older. And she's referring to the 70s and 80s years. So we get this question a lot, it's fair to say. And we talk about this a lot. Because this is such a, I want to say it's like in the top 5 concerns or questions or discussions that we have in our community.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I'm actually happy that this one came up.
Yeah, me too.
So I just want to start by saying that I'm really working hard to not dwell on the past, learn from it, but not dwell on it.
Of course.
And not try to predict or make a future happen that's in my head.
Right.
Which I think a lot of us do and live right there in the middle of being present. And I understand a lot of people say that, but it's very hard to do.
It is.
Because you think about things that you've done in the past, perhaps, and you certainly, at least I do, I can speak for myself, that I'm constantly thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Right. But it's not only that, like you're not only just thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow, but there's some sort of negative spin on it, right? It's not like you're thinking about the future and how glorious and wonderful it's going to be. It's usually definitely has an underlying negative.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. So this is off the top, so don't take this as a real thing. But I'm wondering if we're programmed that way to just lean negative. Whether it's our upbringing or whether it's biological as humans, it seems weird to worry about the future. We always say worry about the future. We never say, oh, we're so looking forward to, well, some people do.
Yeah, some people do. I think it depends. I think it depends on everything you just mentioned. It depends how you grew up, how you were taught to look at the future, and whether or not maybe the behaviors that your parents had, you just learned from them, even if they weren't pushing those on you, you just learn from example. But yeah, I mean, there are people that really worry and are concerned about all the negative impacts that the future can hold for them. Yeah.
And that's why I brought it up, because I'm practicing that every day just to get through. But it also applies in this instance, right? Because when we're in our 70s and 80s, we can't predict what that's going to look like.
Nobody can.
Yeah. And I think that's an important note. I know you're going to talk about that because parents can't predict what that's going to look like. Child-free people can't predict what that's going to look like. Those two paths could have the same similar outcome regardless.
Yeah.
However, I do believe that coming back to that present moment that I'm trying so hard to stay in is that it is important to prepare, do things in the present that could give you the greatest possible future outcome.
Yeah, exactly. Like you mean like just not sit around and think to yourself, I'm just going to be like a miserable, lonely old person.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it?
So my thought on it is this. We get a lot of this question, that fear of loneliness in the future. And to me, pronatalism, society, tradition has put it in most of the population's head that if you don't have kids, you're going to end up lonely. So one equals the other, as if this happens, if then that, right? Like if this happens, then that happens. I understand that a lot of people believe that because that's what they've been told, that's what they've seen, that's what they heard. But to me, the reason that I don't have fear of loneliness is because I think that anyone could end up alone, or anyone can end up thriving and having community, and everyone can have thriving elder years. But I think it's up to each one of us. And I just don't think that kids are a factor. I just don't. And for people who believe that, well, I'm going to have people around me because I have children, that to me never added up, because it always seemed like, well, your children could move to a different state, a different country. I mean, there's just such a laundry list of things that can happen, right? I mean, some people may not, some people may, but it never seemed to me like a guarantee. And I think also because we have so many people in this community that have reached out to us that work at nursing homes or elder care, and they tell us all the stories about parents whose kids don't come to visit them and that they feel very alone. Or if they do come to visit them, it's that once every other month, maybe. And then when they can't show up, the parent's devastated. So I just feel that loneliness can happen on both sides. I don't think that having kids or not having kids is a factor, but I agree with you in that it's completely up to us to navigate that and to see, like, okay, what am I going to do? What can I do now to build community and to be around people that I really feel safe with, that I have fun with, and how can I keep that going into the future? And there's different ways to do that, which is why we're building our membership community, because we have a good grasp of how can we make this happen. And I also think that loneliness comes from the inside. I mean, I've talked to myself plenty of people that are surrounded by a large family and still feel very alone.
Yeah, that's an
Um,
excellent point.
yeah, so I just don't see the correlation between the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You can't predict what's going to happen, no matter
Yeah.
what your circumstances are or what life path you've chosen.
Yeah.
The good news is that it's a common fear probably around most people. Even people that have kids probably sometimes think like, gosh, I hope my kids like me later when I'm older and they need to help take care of me, you know?
Well, let's also, I want to hear from our audience what they think about being lonely in the future. And I want to share, and we're not saying we're right or we're wrong. I think everybody just feels differently. And I would love to hear how people feel about this.
All right, so let's move on to the next question. Are you
Great.
ready?
Yeah, let's do
All right,
it.
here we go. Even if you're confident in your choice, do you have periods where you think about life with children? That's a good one.
It is a good one, and it's definitely one to think about. We talk about this with the members of my program as Childfree for Me, and we've had quite extensive conversations about this. And I think that sometimes people look at it as, if I'm still having moments like I'm confidently child free, but then why am I still having these moments where I look at kids, or I feel like, oh, I wonder what that feels like? Or maybe some people even think, they see a family at the park and maybe they would think like, well, I'll never get to experience that, or any of those thoughts that can go through your head. And I guess they're asking us if we ever feel that way. And I call these snapshot moments in my program, and I do still experience them. And the difference is that I'm able to experience them. And for example, if I used to go to my nieces and nephews' games all the time, and if you see your kids score and it's the end of the game and everyone's cheering, and you see that kid running to their mom or their dad and like giving them a big hug and having this moment, it's sweet. Like, it's really sweet to look at, and you can admire it and say to yourself, perhaps, like, that's so sweet. Like, I'm never going to know what that feels like. Or if you're walking down the street and you see a parent and a child interact in a way that's really also loving and kind. And there's so many different examples when this can happen. And it still definitely happens to me, as confident as we are in our decision. But I'm able to divide that I'm witnessing a really sweet moment between a parent and a child, and start doubting myself in any way, like, did I make the wrong decision? Because I see that as just a natural appreciation of something that's happening, but not I did something bad or made a wrong decision. I never look at it like that. But yeah, it happens to me every now and then. And I also think that it's because I'm so logical when it comes to this, when it comes to making the decision, that even if I see a sweet moment, I still can look at it for that moment for what it is. And if I was really to investigate, I think about what the day to day is. I think about everything that I've thought about to come to the conclusion not to have children. And I'm able to just logically say it's still not for me. Even though I'm never going to experience that one moment, it's still not for me. I can split up the two and just continue to be confident in my child-free choice.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good that you recognize that. That's being self-aware,
Yeah.
and not making a choice based off of something that isn't realistic, and because there's no guarantee that you're going to have those moments either.
Yeah,
You,
sure. Yeah, I just read I was reading I was working on another actually YouTube video that has already been out or will be out soon, but I was looking at headlines of parents of articles where parents are saying, my child scares me, my child attacked me, my child won't go to school, refuses to go. And just really, I can imagine stressful situations for parents that may not be experiencing that moment that perhaps someone is looking at and craving and thinking that it's going to automatically happen. So you're right.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. For me, it was a bit different. I mentioned on a prior YouTube video that we did that I had a big revelation when it came to those snapshot moments. All these snapshot moments that I've had aren't necessarily about me and my children. It's more of something that I wanted and needed from my father that I never got. I had to look at myself and understand that a lot of the things that I was envisioning as far as having children were based off of my need to have a relationship with my father, which
Yeah.
was not as good, which
Yeah.
wasn't good.
That completely makes sense. I think that that probably falls under, I mean, I went through the same thing. I did a video here called The Reason I Almost Had a Baby. So check that out if you haven't. And it was very similar to what I thought I wanted was to relive, like reparent myself by being a parent and doing all the things that I wish I had. So yeah, I can relate to that as well.
I think I can speak for the other half of what you said, where you have had these snapshot moments. Outside of that realization, I never really had any. I was like they say, some of the members and some of the people in our community have said they've just waiting for that moment where the biological clock kicks in, or they're waiting for that moment where they just are ready to be a parent and wake up and want to have kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am there. Like, I can relate to that. I've never woken up and been like, I want to be a dad. It's never been there. And we've talked about this before, but it's always been, well, I guess if my partner wants kids, I will give them
Right.
kids.
Right. But we've talked about it at the
We've
time. You
talked
weren't
about that.
even aware. Yeah. You weren't even aware that that's what you
Yeah.
were saying or that you had a say in the whole situation. But yeah, it's interesting. It's completely normal, in my opinion, to have those kind of moments and to not think of them too
Yeah.
deeply because that's all they are. They're moments.
Yeah. So I
Hmm.
guess the answer to the question is sure, we have thought about life with children before. I think everyone has. You got to ask yourself what that's like. But we're able to not jump to that conclusion that we should have them. We actually did a deeper dive individually. We did a deeper dive with ourselves to determine what we really want, and making sure that the snapshot of what a family would look like,
Or
or
what we're
what
witnessing, what we're looking at, what we
yeah,
see on TV, movies, social media.
we wanted to really look at that in a realistic way, that there is no guarantee that your vision of what a family would look like is what it's going to look like. In fact, most of the time it's not. And it could be for the good or bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but life is like that in every aspect,
Well, and
in
it's
my
also
opinion.
yes, and it's also a snapshot, right? You're looking at this little tiny, and like all that we do is just pull back, right? And then see the wide shot of, okay, what does this really look like? And then it takes us back to, oh, okay, no, I made the right decision, for myself.
And we're both grateful that we made this decision and we found each other. So
We
that's good.
are. We are. And we just posted something and it's so true. Like we just get more and more confident as we get older that this was the best decision that we both could have made. Like we celebrate it all the time, right? Like we still talk about it every day. And I know that people in our community have shared that they look at each other and say, how would we do this with kids? And we have moments all the time that we say, we're so happy that we chose this lifestyle because it just wasn't for us.
Yeah, and I truly believe that that confidence that's always growing has a
Mm-hmm.
lot to do with what we're doing, obviously. Like we're
Yeah.
talking about it. We're having the dialogue. Before it
Yes.
was just a taboo subject that you kept to yourself and got uncomfortable when people engaged and asked you that
Yeah.
question. And
Yeah.
now we're actually out
Yeah.
there and we're discussing it. And
Yeah. And we discover more positives every day.
yeah, and most
Mm-hmm.
importantly, with the program and with our membership and by connecting people, we're hoping that that confidence grows as it's been growing for us for them because we want to
Yeah.
help folks, you know.
Yeah. And
So
it's important to feel at peace, to feel confident, to feel good about your choice, your lifestyle, what your future can look like. And I think that sometimes there's so many things that can get in people's way and makes them feel doubtful about what they're doing. But like this person said in their question, they're confident, so I'm assuming that they're asking us because they're experiencing this at times and just wanting to make sure that it's, normal and that this happens to other people as well. Yeah, I actually did a poll. I asked all the women in my program if they have these moments because one of the girls was becoming really concerned that these moments still existed even after she's gaining her confidence with the child-free choice. So I just ended up asking everybody, and everybody said, "Yeah, of course, I have those." And then they asked me, and I said, "Yeah, of course, yeah, it
yeah. Well,
happens."
and we've also discovered that this ebbs and flows. That's why it's ongoing, and you're going to
Yeah,
experience different feelings at different ages
yeah,
also. So it changes, you know, in your 20s, you're not thinking about it as much, or some people aren't. It has these stages, and you just have to understand that it's going to ebb and flow. Sometimes you're going to be in your flow, you're going to feel confident, and then it's an
yeah,
ongoing process, as most things are in life, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Right. Anyway, this has been fun.
It
I want to end by
was.
saying that we should do more of these. I think it's
Yeah,
important to
I
answer
think
questions
so.
and
We are going to
offer,
do more. We have so many more
yeah,
questions.
we offer up our opinions. I'm not going to say we're always right, but it's how we're speaking from the heart.
Yeah.
I can say to everyone watching this, we're coming from a good, positive place. We're speaking from the heart. Our
Yes.
intention is to help. Our intention is to be here and build a community so
Mhm.
everyone can feel more confident and be
Yeah.
happier with their choice and what their life is going to look like moving
Yeah, and
forward.
feel supported and celebrated and all the things. So
100%.
I hope, let us know in the comments if you're
Yes.
feeling any of
Let
those
us know. And
things.
if you're not, that's okay too. Let us know. And then maybe we could address that. But yeah, we want to do more of these. So send us questions here and then we'll do another one on Instagram before we do our next one, which will
Okay,
be good. Get some more questions.
sounds good.
All right. Thanks,
Okay,
babe.
bye.
Bye.
As we just mentioned, if there is a question that has been swirling around in your head about your child-free life, or maybe you're still wondering if this path is for you, go ahead and add it to the comments below. Also, if you have been wondering how men feel about the child-free choice, you want to watch this video next, where Rick is in the hot seat and shares his personal experience. We thank you, we appreciate you, and we're excited to see you next week.